Hey guys, yeah, I'm back with another live stream, and I wanted to do this mainly because of the fact that I want to talk about something that really a lot of people have had the differences of opinion on, and that is basically the and I do apologize for any lag, but basically the forbidden door that WWE apparently is finally opened up, or at least cracked open, if you will. And hold on while I check something. Okay, just making sure it's working. Testing. Hey, like I said, testing, testing, folks, testing, folks. Yeah, just make sure the blue bell is, or the blue ice ball is, as they call it, the blue snow bell is working, if you will. But yeah, I wanted to come on here and basically talk about the fact that I do apologize if the phone rings and everything. And also, before I start, check me out at BW Rose's Discussions at all your favorite audio podcast locations except for Pandora, close to 300 guys. And listener support is activated if you're listening to me on Anchor.fm. Also, check me out at BW Roses on Patreon. Help support me there. You can help support me there at the $1, $3 tier if you choose to do so. I am considering a $5 one for Q&A, but don't hold me to that just yet. Also, check me out at BW Roses on Vimeo for content you can't get here on YouTube due to copyright reasons. And also check me out at Venmo at Brian-Walmer-2 to help support me there. That the Venmo can be found in the description if you're interested in doing so. But yeah, let's talk about this forbidden door. Basically the title of the video says it best. Has WWE finally opened the forbidden door, or is it just for show? And the reason I asked this question is mainly because of the fact that a lot of folks have been very opinionated on the fact that, and I'm just checking something there, making sure this doesn't do an update load or whatever while I'm doing this. But basically, like I said, a lot of people have been very, how do you put it, very opinionated when it comes to the announcement of Mickie James being in the Royal Rumble this year. And the reason they're very opinionated on that is because of the fact that Mickie James is currently the Impact Knockouts champion. She is currently the Impact Knockouts champion. And a lot of people feel that the only reason WWE is doing this is to make themselves look good. That they don't really care about Mickie James. They don't care whether or not, she lasts a half hour, she lasts a minute or whatever. They don't care. They don't care because they feel that all WWE is doing is, basically trying to make themselves look good. And they feel that, Mickie James is being nothing more than a hypocrite in basically going back to them even for this one-off appearance. And look, as I've said many times before in my videos and even the live streams, like this one, and I'll say it again, everybody has a right to their opinion. Everybody has a right to feel the way they do about a company like, let's say, WWE, or AEW, or Impact, or MLW, who, by the way, is suing WWE right now for reasonings of that go along the lines of WWE's trying to convince some of the roster, MLW's roster talent, to quit the company, get out of the contracts or something. I don't know. I'm sure that JD and just Alex and a lot of them will talk about this later tonight. But anyway, like I said, everybody has a right to their opinions when it comes to the likes of WWE, AEW, Impact, MLW, New Japan, AAA, PWG, And not only do they have a right to feel, to give their opinions, on those, companies and how they feel about them, but they also have a right to their opinion when it comes to basically, praising, what that company gives you. Whether they want to praise AEW for being, the company that they feel it should, being the company that wrestling needs it to be right now. Whether, it's praising them for that, or whether or not it's praising, WWE for finally stepping up and realizing, hey, we need to do these kind of things. We need to, make these decisions, um, you know, as quickly as possible, or else, we're gonna fall behind, and people are going to, and whatever fan base we have is gonna go and want to be, all elite fans in the future. So they realize that they have to do, so there are going to be people that will praise them for decisions, like, let's say, announcing and acknowledging Mickie James as being a participant in the Royal Rumble, as well as acknowledging, her as, being the Impact Knockouts champion. Again, everybody has a right to their opinions. Everybody can say that the Battle of Los Angeles is the greatest wrestling tournament in the world, better than New Japan's. Everybody has a right to feel that way. There's no doubt. People could say that the G1 Climax is the best tournament in wrestling. They have an opinion to that. That's not, and if that's how they feel, that's how they feel. The thing is, you know, everybody's going to, say, how they feel about one company over the other. Some are going to, basically put, certain companies on blast because they feel, that company has deserved that right to be put on blast for some of the decisions they make. But, when you really get down to it, like I said, all it really is a matter of opinion. If people feel, that, WWE is just doing this for show and no other reason, that's their opinion. If they feel Mickie James is being a hypocrite by allowing herself to go back and be part of this, even for a one-off deal, if they feel she's being a hypocrite, that's their opinion. That you can't change their mind. If they feel that WWE is doing this all for show and they could care less about helping out Impact, that's their opinion. But here's the thing: whether or not it's for show, or there's something more going on, you have to acknowledge the fact that, as I've said before, this is not the first time WWE has done this. It's not the first time, nor will it be the last. WWE has worked with other promotions outside of their own. And just because they don't acknowledge certain promotions on air, most of the time, doesn't mean they don't know that they exist. They do. Like I said, just because they don't acknowledge them, on television, doesn't mean that basically, they don't acknowledge that they exist, because they do. They just want, basically the thing is, they want the people that watch their programming, that watch their shows, that watch their pay-per-views, they're invested in their wrestlers, superstars, if you will. They want the viewers, the fans that they have, the audience that they have, to primarily focus on them and no other promotion. That's about it. Because if they, blab out, hey, did you see what happened on AEW Dynamite this past Wednesday? Or did you see what happened? Or did you hear what's going to go down tonight on Rampage? Do you think they want their audience to be like, ooh, what's this AEW Dynamite? Ooh, what's this AEW Rampage? What are they talking about? Do you think they want them to, shift their attention over to them? No, they don't. Which is why they don't talk about them that much. Which is why they don't talk about them that much. It's not that they are ignoring them. It's not that they're trying to pretend they don't exist. They know they do. It's just that they're trying to basically, mainly their main focus and priority is to have the audience focused on their product and nothing else. Now, you might say to yourself, well, what does this have to do with Impact? What does this have to do with the NWA or any of them? Well, here's the thing. Impact and NWA, they're not on a big network. Like I said in the other live stream, they're not on a huge network like, let's say, AEW is. They're not. They're not on a huge network. And that's the truth. They are not on a huge network like All Elite Wrestling is right now on the Turner networks. Because, as I've said before, and I'll say again, if you don't think WWE would have ignored Mickie James if Mickie James was All Elite, you'd be kidding yourself. Because the only reason they're extending the olive branch to her to come back and do this and even acknowledge her as the Impact Knockouts champion is because she's not part of AEW. If she was part of AEW, then yeah, there's no way they invite her back because, why would they want to invite someone that everybody could see on a weekly basis every Wednesday and Friday night, on the Turner networks? Why would they do that? They wouldn't. Because if they did that, it'd be giving more attention to AEW than what they already have. So the thing is, the reason they're bringing Mickie James in, and potentially rumor has it they may think about Moose, Matt Cardona, if you will. The reason they would acknowledge them and bring them in, even do their association, contractual, deals that they have, or whatever handshake deals that they have at Impact and the NWA and whoever, the only reason they would bring them in is because Impact is not on a major network. Yeah, they're on Access TV, and certain cable companies, including Comcast, in some regions, carry Access TV, but that's about it. They don't find Access TV, Impact on Access as a threat. They don't. Like they used to basically in the past when Impact was on Spike, and even before that, Impact was on FS1. More people have access to FS1 and Spike TV, and I do apologize if the phone rings in a little bit. That's going to be my mom calling up to tell me where she's at before she heads home, which is why I'm doing this now. But like I said, WWE used to consider Impact a bit of a threat when they were on FS1 and Spike TV. They don't consider that anymore. Due to the fact that they are on a network that not many people have. And that the only other alternative way people have to watch the show or watch Impact Wrestling is Twitch. And not many people will use Twitch to watch wrestling, and that's the truth. So WWE does not look at Impact Wrestling as a threat. They don't look at the NWA as a threat, even though the NWA has the NWA Power Show and NWA USA shows on YouTube as well as on Fight. They still don't consider them a threat because of the fact that a lot of people don't really watch wrestling on YouTube as much as some viewership numbers may say otherwise. So WWE takes all those things, takes all those factors, I should say, into consideration. And by taking all that into consideration, they realize, bringing in Mickie James is not going to be a threat to us. Her coming in, as the Impact Knockouts champion, even showing off the belt, is not going to be a threat to us. It's not going to be our undoing because Impact's not a threat, because the network they're on is not a threat to us, period. And that's the truth. That is the truth. It's all about that. When you get down to it, ladies and gentlemen, it's all about the network, the broadcaster, that airs your show on their network on a weekly basis. That's it. And if WWE doesn't think Impact on Access is a threat, then they're going to be cool with bringing in someone like Mickie James. They're going to be cool by saying, hey, Moose, how would you like to be the first world champion from another organization to come on in and be part of the Royal Rumble? They're not afraid of doing that. They're not afraid of doing that because of the fact that to them, Impact's not a threat. They're not a threat whatsoever. Now, again, like I said, if Mickie James and Moose were on AEW, that'd be a different story. and everybody knows that. Hold on for a second. Told you. Hello? Yeah. Okay. All right. Sorry about that. I told you that was going to happen. But anyway, like I said, if Moose and Mickie James were all elite, it'd be a different story because AEW, Dynamite, and Rampage are on TBS and TNT. And them being on those and AEW being on those networks, anybody a part of that company or associated with the company, there's no way WWE would throw them a bone because it would be giving more exposure, as I mentioned earlier, to all elite wrestling than it already has. So by throwing a bone towards Impact's way and throwing a bone towards NWA's way, any company that's on a broadcast affiliate, but not one that's as big as the Turner networks where AEW is, they don't see it as a threat, which is why they don't mind bringing in Mickie James. They don't. They don't mind bringing her in. They don't mind probably extending the olive branch to bring in someone like Moose to be part of the men's rumble. They don't. Because the companies they're associated with, they don't see as a threat. They don't see it as a threat whatsoever. So, as far as WWE finally opening the forbidden door, yeah, it may look like they've done it, but they've only done it for the companies, the promotions that they feel are not a threat to them due to the networks, the cable channels, if you will, the services that broadcast their shows. Because if they don't consider Access Network as a threat to USA or Fox, if they don't consider YouTube as a threat to USA or Fox or Fight, then it's no big deal. It's no big deal to them because then, by extension, they don't consider Impact Wrestling or the NWA a threat, which is why they don't mind bringing in those talents. Because in their mindset, nobody's going to know who Moose is. People will know who Mickie James is, but they won't know who Moose is. And that's basically a win-win for WWE. I mean, yeah, it's a win-win for Impact because people will be like, okay, if Moose comes in and he's acknowledged as the Impact World Champion, yeah, it's going to get people to tune into Impact somehow or watch some kind of information or look at some clips of Impact and everything to see what they're missing. But even still, that's not a big deal to WWE. That's not a big deal. The fact of the matter is, when you get down to it, yes, WWE, to an extent, has opened the forbidden door, but only to those that they feel are not a threat to them. That's it. They're not going to open the forbidden door to AEW. They're not going to open the forbidden door to New Japan unless it's, unless there's a decent deal, it's going to benefit all parties. They're not going to open the door to AAA unless, like I said, the same thing happens with them. They're only going to open the door to those that they don't consider a threat. And in their eyes, Impact and the NWA are not a threat, period. And that's the truth. That's the truth. When you get down to it. It's basically about who basically airs your content on a national, worldwide cable level. That's what it gets down to. It's not about whether or not a wrestling promotion's on equal footing with you or anything like that. It's not because of the fact that, I don't want to acknowledge some other promotion's existence or anything like that. It's mainly the fact that if they don't see you and the promotion, mostly the promotion you work for, as a threat, then they're not going to have a problem bringing you in. They won't. I mean, I was just watching the 1996 Royal Rumble as well as Brian Zane's review of it. And, in that Royal Rumble, they acknowledged Doug Gilbert from being, they acknowledged, as I said, Doug Gilbert from being, being from the USWA. They acknowledged that Japanese wrestler from All Japan. Why would they acknowledge him? Because the USWA and mostly All Japan were not a threat. They're not a threat to them. Yeah, the USWA became like a developmental system, but even in '96, it was still looked at as a bit, of its own thing, a bit of its own promotion, a bit of a competitor to WWE, but WWE didn't see them as a threat. And that's why they would acknowledge them. Same thing with the Japanese wrestler from All Japan. They acknowledged, AGPW because, they're not a threat like New Japan. And that's a fact. And that's why they're doing the same thing here. That's why they're doing the same thing here, with Impact Wrestling. Impact Wrestling's on Access. They don't see them as a threat. NWA is on YouTube and Fight. They don't see them as a threat. But when it comes to AEW, yeah, they do, because they're on the Turner Networks. And that's a different story. So there's no way they're going to extend the olive branch to Ruby Soho and say, come on back, Ruby, be part of the Rumble. I mean, she might take it if let's say, Liv Morgan says, hey, come on in and let's make this happen. She might consider it. She might. But even if the invitation was handed to her, it would only be handed to her if she was working for another promotion like Impact, not for AEW, which she's seen a lot. And the whole world sees it through, the likes of the Turner Networks and stuff. So, yeah, someone like Ruby Soho, someone like Thunder Rosa, they would not, Britt Baker, they would not get the invitation. And they might be considered, but the invitations would not be going out to them because they're on a show, the wrestling on a promotion show that's seen, or shows that is seen on national networks that are rivals to the likes of USA and Fox. And that's the reality. That's the reality, period. I'm not trying to come out here and say that I'm right and people like Just Alex and JD and Salamaso and all of them are wrong. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, from what I could tell, from my point of view, the reality is, because Access is on because Impact is on the Access network, a much smaller cable network, smaller than USA, Turner's, the USA Network, the Turner Networks, you name it. Because they're on there, because by extension around other parts of the world are on Fight, because the NWA is on YouTube along with both their shows as well as being on Fight, WWE doesn't consider them a threat, either one of them, which is why they're fine with bringing them in and saying, hey, we'll take that person, we'll bring them into the Rumble. We'll take that person, we'll utilize them for future plans. Because they don't see those companies as threats unless they're on networks like, let's say the Turner Networks. If they were on the Turner Networks, they would consider them a threat. If they were on, the Paramount Network, they would consider them a threat. End of story. But because they're not, and they're on Access and YouTube and Fight, not a threat to WWE, which is why they're bringing in Mickie James, which is why they're considering someone like Moose and probably other surprises from those areas, from those promotions or other promotions just as small, if not smaller, because they don't consider them a threat. And by acknowledging their existence, they don't feel it's going to backfire on them because of the fact that, it's going to be hard for people to find where Impact's at on Access or find the NWA on YouTube and Fight. And that's the truth. In my opinion, that's the truth, and that's the reality of it. So, again, when you get down to it, the reason you won't see AEW men and women show up for the Rumble or get invited is because they're on the Turner Networks. That's where AEW is at home at, like right now, currently as we speak. Well, companies like Impact and the NWA are on smaller affiliates like Access, Fight, YouTube, and Fight, and that's it. That's it. And WWE doesn't consider those a threat to them, being on the likes of USA, Fox, and to an extent Peacock. they don't consider them a threat at all. But anyway, though, guys, I just wanted to come on here and acknowledge that, yes, they have opened the forbidden door, but only to those promotions they don't consider a threat to them, like Impact and the NWA, because of the networks they're on or the affiliates they'll broadcast on as we speak. But let me know what your thoughts are. How do you feel about it? Thank you all for watching. Really, and thank you for the super chat. It's been high super. Adding me, thank you. $4 super chat. Thank you. Really appreciate that. First time ever super chat I've ever got, guys. Thank you. Thank you. First ever super chat. Thank you. Really appreciate that. That is definitely going to go a long ways. Thank you. Thank you very much for that, guys. Really appreciate it. $4 super chat. Thank you. Really appreciate that. Didn't see that coming, but thank you. Thank you very much. But yeah, again, guys, just let me know. But anyway, guys, I just wanted to come on here, let you know about that. And for those of you that are joining, basically what this Forbidden Door thing is when it comes to professional wrestling, it's something that All Elite Wrestling started last year or within, well, not actually last year, but within its existence, where Tony Khan basically said, hey, I'm going to, basically open the door to allow anybody from any promotion to come in and wrestle for us. He's even tried to extend it to WWE, believe it or not. And everybody's been wondering who else would, follow suit, who else would, go through the forbidden door. And basically, or who else would even, want to welcome people, want to walk through the forbidden door and, bring in other people from promotions. And the reason WWE is in the news with it is because they've invited Mickie James back to be part of the Rumble. And Mickie James right now is the Impact Wrestling World Champion. And they are considering the likes of Moose and others to possibly be in the men's one to kind of, give them a little bit more, to kind of make themselves look good, but also basically because they don't feel Impact, the likes of Impact and the NWA, the National Wrestling Alliance, because of the affiliations they're on, they're with when it comes to broadcasting their shows are a threat. They don't feel a threat, unlike AEW. But yeah, that's about it, guys. That is about it. So anyway, though, guys, thank you all for listening. Let me answer this question first. What's your stance on Squidward's big nose? Does it look like a a huge penis? Look, dude, I'm gonna tell you straight up. I've never been particularly fond of SpongeBob. I mean, yes, he's been getting better at times. There's no doubt. I mean, I'll put it this way: I do like the episode where he starts to have an identity crisis. He gets over it thanks to his friends, but then his friends go through an identity crisis by having their heads morph into him and all that. So, I can't really say either here or there about Squidward's Nose. All I know is, he's a character that's very popular with people, but with the fans. But he's basically portrayed as a self-absorbed individual that basically when things catch up to him, it catches up to him in the hardest of ways. So anyway, though, guys, that's what I'm going to answer. That's all I can answer on that one. And like I said, do I like SpongeBob? I think it's okay. I think it has the potential to get better. I think what they need to do, if they really want to get people that are interested in it, that hearing good things about it and all that, if they want them to really give it a chance, then they need to do the one thing that even those that are not fans entirely already know they should do to really, get people talking. And that's just, basically make Sandy and SpongeBob an item, be done with it and go from there. And that's about it. Make them an item, make it official. Even if you have to wait to the final season, whenever that is, whoever that is, make, when not whoever it is, but whenever that final season is of the original SpongeBob, that's what you need to do. You need to put those two together because that's something fans have been waiting for since the beginning. But anyway, though, guys, that's all I'm gonna say. Again, check me out at the Teespring store, if you will. Yeah, that's everybody's opinion. They might think SpongeBob might be on the LGBTQ side of things, but even the people that work on it have even hinted at that. But we'll see. We'll see what they do. I know that there is rumors going around that along with Patrick, basically, they're considering Squidwards and Sandy getting their own shows as well. I think fans would be more acceptive of having a Sandy Cheeks show than a Squidward show. To be honest with you, you could do a lot with her. Be very creative, if you will. Be very creative. I could see her, since she's the kind of scientific kind of person or character. I could see an episode of her own show down the line where she becomes like a slime girl and she has fun with it. Like melting down and shape shifting and stuff like that. I could see that. Do you guys agree? Let me know in the comments if you like. No, Bartley Molt, Bartley Marth, not really. I don't really know, guys. But anyway, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'm considering a Q&A down the line for Patreon support at $5 tier. Let me know in the comments if you would like me to do a Q&A super chat wise here on the channel down the line, and I might consider it for a future live stream. It all depends. Honestly. But anyway, though, guys, that's all I'm going to say for now. Thank you all for watching. Really appreciate the support. Thank you to Christian High. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. For the super chat. Really appreciate you being the first one to ever do that. Anybody else, if you want to help financially support me, Venmo is open at Brian-Warmer-2. Patreon, like I said, with a $1 and $3 tier, maybe a $5 one coming down the line in the future. But anyway, though, guys, let me know what your thoughts are. Comment down below. Again, check me out at BW Rose's Discussions, all your favorite audio podcast locations except for Pandora. Also, check me out at Venmo at Brian-Warmer-2. Patreon at BW Roses for the $1 or $3 tier to help support there. Also, check me out at BW Roses on VENMO. And check me out at BW Roses Discussions on all your favorite audio podcast locations except for Pandora. Listener support is activated on Anchor.fm if you're listening there. And ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening to the podcast through the various podcast affiliates like Spotify and Amazon and Apple, if they have video podcasting enabled along with audio, you could also have your choice of listening or watching the podcast through one of those affiliations. And I am close to 300 podcasts as well, guys. So until next time, though, again, thank you all for the support. Thank you for the super chat. Hope to see more of those in the future. And I will talk to you later. I got to go because my mom might just be heading just around the corner. And I'll put it this way. Doing live streams or videos when she's home, it's a lot harder to do than when she's not home, if you catch my drift. Take care, guys. God bless. Thank you for the support. Comment below. I'm out.